Welcome to the Willville City Gym.
Hey, welcome back to the most chaotic space on YouTube, the Willville City Gym, where we bring the drama to you like TMZ. You can say that again, but just know that nobody here is celebrity worthy except for me, Knox. Star power? Check. Brains? Check. Charisma? Absolutely. The rest of you are just the supporting cast in my epic saga. Knox, you really are a piece of work, aren't you, dude? Yeah, a masterpiece, Will. And speaking of masterpieces, we got Crazy Chris in the house today with the Hops Zacian deck. Now that's the kind of unhinged brilliance I respect. Like my boy Primate, underestimated, just like me. TPCI just doesn't get the true titans who dare to be different. They just want everybody playing by the same boring rulebook. Control, Will, that's what it's all about. You can say that again, Knox. Sometimes it feels like having any kind of personality or artistry in life brings unnecessary heat in this world. Yeah, exactly. They crush that spark. This isn't some treasure hunt for gimme gold coins, Will. It's a battlefield. Yep. On that note, let's take a look at the current standings. Cool Kid Corey has solidified the top spot after snagging a win last week with the Terror Box deck. Started out strong, closed strong. That's disgusting, but mark my words. Chris better wipe the floor with his opponent. I need to see that smug look wiped off of Corey's face. And speaking of which, I got some big news. That son of a gun, Corey. Hey, Ted, look, I brought them for you. I got your staple cards that you asked for, the Ionos, Professor of Research, Boss. Oh, goody. I really needed those cards. And here you go. I don't really need these cards. I see him trading with Ted, and he's always getting his best cards and then bringing them to the war battle. That's so not fair. I gotta confront them right now. The Zacian, the Greninja, the special illustration, and the Stanishtia. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I was missing these from my master set, so. Aha! Caught you red-handed, Corey. See, I told you, you were colluding with Ted. Ted's giving you all the good cards. You're saying that's a fair trade? I gotta go. Basic cards, wimpy full arts, and you're getting some illustration rares. Wow, of course, that's how you roll, don't you, Corey? Okay, so you're saying because I'm being resourceful and can negotiate, you're gonna have an issue with that? No, that's called manipulation. And guess what? I am gonna get you back. I'm challenging you right now to a war battle. But this time, instead of being a little wimpy baby, how about you bring the best top 5 cards that you pulled from your packs? Not just trading away and getting the best cards or using mommy and daddy's money to go to the store. Okay, sure. I'm more than happy to war battle you. I'll bring the cards that I did pull from my packs too, so it'll be more fair if that makes you happy. And you're on. So I look forward to taking another Charizard or whatever else you're bringing. We'll see you next week. Exactly. I'll see you next week, you punk ass. So you see, Will, that's the fear of Knox already setting in. He'll be trembling all week knowing the best cards are going to be mine. Right, so I'm sure Cool Kid Corey is losing sleep. Doesn't he have your Charizard Alt-RB? No, I bought that off of some shady website for $5. You think that thing's real? If he tries to use it, it's an automatic DQ. Can't bring fakes to a real battle. Okay, well, let's pivot to the main event, the Hops Zacian deck. Another exciting strategy to emerge from the Journey Together set. In the start of the show is the Hops Zacian EX with an incredible instant strike attack, 30 damage to the active, and that's just the beginning. You want to crank up the damage? Toss Hops Snorlax on the bench for an extra 30, equip Hops Choice Band for another 30, and if you're battling in the most forgettable town in Galar, Postwick, you guessed it, another 30. That's potentially 120 to the active for a single energy. Yeah, that's pretty impressive, right? It would be truly terrifying if anyone actually used it for the second attack. 330 damage for 3 energies? Clearly TPCI thinks that's asking too much. Yeah, true, that's a shame. Maybe we'll see it shine one day though. Doubtful. Hops Pokemon are done with the support, and we still have Matang in the meta, so no way. Yeah, that's a fair point. Speaking of Hops Pokemon, we also have Hops People treat Cramorant like a joke, but this bird is a menace. Remember the Spit Shot Cramorant? Meta-defining. And the new one, Fickle Spitting, Hops Choice Band, you're looking at 120 damage for 0 energy. That's the kind of unpredictable power you don't mess with, just like you don't mess with Coach Knox. He'll eat you and your Pikachu in seconds. Alright. And we have a bonus Pokemon to discuss in this deck as well. Yeah, Crazy Chris is a genius, including Monkey Dory. The little trickster can really disrupt your opponent. Actually, it's not Monkey Dory, but another Pokemon that can move damage around, Iron Valiant, and its Tachyon Bits ability. Plus, with the Jet Energy, Switch Cards, Surfer Trainer, you got a ton of mobility. Wow, that deck actually sounds pretty decent. Yeah, we'll see just how decent this deck is. I'll head down to the battlefield as our competitors are all set and ready to go.
And the coin flip, and the opponent calls tails, and it's a tails. They just did Chris dirty. This game is rigged. I can't believe it.
They're choosing to go second, so either Crazy Chris is going up against a big basic deck, or they really need to ensure they hit a trainer to get set up. For Chris, we don't see a Zacian EX, but the rest of the crew's there. My boy Cram, the Iron Valiant, Snorlax, and Faz. What a stud. That definitely is a good start for Chris. Plus, having an Arvin for next turn will allow Chris to get the Zacian EX and the Hobbs Choice Band in hand. The opponent is up now and is working on setting up. A Pidgey in the active along with a Cleffa coming out. It must be... Yeah, you are right, Will. We just saw the Charmeleon too, which means we're seeing a Charizard EX deck. How lame. I wouldn't say that deck's lame, Knox. That deck's actually a lot of fun, very consistent. Fun fact too, I actually won a local league tournament with a Charizard EX deck, so I have some pretty fond memories of it. You want to know who I don't have fond memories of, Will? Corey. Cool kid Corey. He thinks he's so tough and so cool. Well, guess what? I have a plan to beat him in the next war battle. I'm going to humiliate him in front of the whole gym and take away any swagger and moxie that is left. Nobody's going to think he's cool after that.
Honestly, Knox, I hope you actually win that war battle, because frankly, I'm tired of the storyline. It's been kind of funny for a while, but the bit's got to end, right? No, Will. It never ends. Me and Corey are at war forever, because Corey is a loser, and Knox is a winner, and he always is trying to take me down.
So with the hand to one with a Charmander being grabbed from the deck off the Ultra Ball, we're seeing a grasping draw, allowing the opponent to draw an additional 6 cards in hand, bringing it to 7 in total, and back to Chris.
Now it's Chris's time to shine. He's gonna make a big brain play and make the opponent concede. They see the writing on the wall already. I guarantee it. The opponent has a pretty good setup too, so I highly doubt that, Knox.
You know what's great? Cleffa is going down this next turn. They're lucky the Zacian wasn't already up, because they would have bossed up the Charmander and knocked out the Cleffa on the bench. Unfortunately, he had to use Butterfingers, aka Sandwich Dropper, aka Arvin, to find the tools he needed.
Right there with you on that, Knox. To your point, yeah, if he could have taken out the Charmander and the Cleffa at the same time, that would have been game at that point. So, totally not fair. That is some BS.
And fun fact too, it does hit for weakness, taking the first prize while putting damage on the Pidgey. I'm assuming later in the game that Pidgeot EX, which we'll assume they're going to set up, will be a target, with it having lower hit points for being a 2-prizer than a Charizard EX. So I'm assuming he's thinking about that strategy there. But with him taking the first prize, let's take it down to Chris to get his initial thoughts.
Sup, Big Papa Plunker, hitting him on the dome. Boom! I instilled the fear in him today. And got the first prize, got my board stop. I mean, what else can you
I would
want?
say a big hitter, plus you're playing a deck that has a lot of control on the board, and pretty powerful.
Will, don't be rude to Chris. Chris, are you gonna take it easy on him, or are you gonna make him cry?
Yeah, not concerned about that, Knox. I'm gonna make them say uncle real loud, and then I'm gonna cram them into a locker. I'm gonna eat their lunch, including the buddy
Yeah,
coffee.
show him no mercy.
Exactly after they take 2 shots of Zacian, I'm gonna be setting up damage, hitting them with big with the Cram round.
I'm gonna take 2 more
Yeah,
prizes.
good luck with that, Chris.
He doesn't need it, Will. Get it through your skull and your head, out your mud brain.
Thanks, Chris, and good luck.
He doesn't need it, Will. Leave that guy alone. Sheesh.
I think he does, Knox. They just set up the Pidgeot EX. They have a Charmander in the active. Likely will turn into a Charizard EX. All it will take from there is a Defiance Band.
I would imagine from here, though, the game plan is, with this Pidgeot EX, to search out for potentially a Buddy Poffin, or if they do play a secret... Yep.
They just played a secret box, which will grab them a tool, trainer, item card, stadium. So they have all the pieces they need, I would imagine here.
Oh, crap. I think you're right. Yep, so that's going to allow them to be in a really good spot. They'll be able to grab a lot of trainer cards to be able to support this setup and build. So from here we see Buddy Poffin, Defiance Band, Iono, and the Artisan Stadium, which will grab them a lot of really what they need to be consistent the rest of the match.
And now a Buddy Poffin for a Charmander and a stupid Duskull, that creep. It looks like they're just passing.
See, Will, wrong again. No knockout. Boring play. I thought you were the smart guy here. Yeah, right.
Oh, and let me guess, Knox is always right, and don't forget about it. Am I right?
Exactly, Will. And it seems like you keep forgetting. Always remember, Knox is always right, and don't forget about it. Okay, Knox. Well, back to Chris. He has a couple options here. He will go for a boss. The Duskull has been a meta staple. Just makes sense to get rid of them if you can. Agreed. And we already know that they haunt the town that I'm from, snooping around everywhere, and the rumor is it partnered with Sneezlers. I'd see them climbing up on top of roofs and down chimneys. Modern day the Grinch. People are waking up, boom, and the entire card collection's stolen. That is the second worst way to wake up for the day besides knowing that you have to do a telecast with a knucklehead named Will. Well, I'd say that I can think of something even worse, which is to have to do a telecast with a fake macho man named Knox. You want to fight about this? Yeah, sure, let's go, Knox. You're just triggered. You didn't mean it. Anyways, we see the opponent. They just put down the Artisan Stadium, grabbing another Duskull. So it looks like we can't get rid of him. See, Will, exactly. What a nuisance. And off the quick search from the Pidgeot EX, we find a Charizard EX. Gets that up and rolling. So I smell some trouble here for Chris. No, you are smelling Ted from earlier. Confronted the guy, as I'm sure you recall, and I think he sharted in here. Seriously, that's disgusting. Knox, you're such a weirdo, dude. No, you are. Oh, look, there's my girl Iono hooking up Chris with a solid hand, it looks like. And gets his own Iono, which means the opponent, he's cooked. Knox, I do not agree with you on that. The fact that they're still going to have the Pidgeot EX will allow them to have a ton of consistency. And on top of that, they just threw back a Charmeleon into the deck, got an Ultra Ball, about to be setting up another important Pokemon, so still in a pretty good spot. They just grabbed their own Pheasantipede, so they're going to draw out of it regardless. Damn you, Pheasantipede. I'm always telling people I love him, but I know deep down inside he's basically a secret agent, spy. He's always double-crossing everybody, and that's why sometimes they say you can't trust him, even though he'll do the dirty work for you. Right? He's drew 3 cards for both players. And down goes the Hops Zacian, Charizard EX taking a knockout. Now it's tied up 2-2. We'll see where Chris goes from here. Oh, I know, Will. I'll tell you. He's going to be using the Iono to be able to see 4 new cards. Those are going to be important because he's going to get the Hops Choice Band. And then from there, maybe the Prime Catcher so he can gust up that Pidgeot EX. That Pidgeot EX is always stealing all the Magikarp and murdering them. That's so disturbing. Yeah, that's fair. And off the Artisan Stadium, we did see him grab the Iron Bundle. And from there, we'll replace the stadium with a Postwick. And then we'll be using Iono, which will grab some great oof, but no Hops Choice Band. There's still a chance with the draw 3. Oh, nope. Dang it. What the heck, Fez? See, he did double cross us. He was supposed to draw us good cards. He drew the opponent good cards, but not Chris. Are you kidding me? So that will mean that Chris is going to be passing. The Charizard player appears to be in a really good spot, considering the fact that they potentially can use a Dusknoir here. If they take the knockout single prize here, plus the Dusknoir later, plus 1-2 prizer at some point. But we'll see. Maybe Chris can dig himself out. Dang it! And we're gonna see a boss on a 2 prizer, aren't we? Nope, just another Iono. Looks like I said that the bosses are scared to come out and face the real challenges. That's why they have grunts do all the hard work. Well, true. Yeah, it seems like the higher up you go in an organization, the actual less you do. You pass off all the work to your grunts, and then from there, you make them do the work, and you collect the cash. It's the beauty of doing business. Down goes the Cram. Back to Chris, who has a decent hand, including draw support, along with a Prime Catcher. He definitely can disrupt here. Let's see what this pathetic bird grabs for Chris. Hopefully it's something good. Yeah, I agreed. Well, we do need to see a Cramorant here as well. There's the Hops Choice Band, so important one there. We may see the Tachyon bits here if they attach the Jet Energy, and that Prime Catcher can effectively gust up the Pidgeot EX and removing the consistency. So, all in all, I mean, a decent start here on this turn for Chris. Now you get it, Will. And off the Artisan here, we see a Hops bag. We all know what's inside that bag, Will. It's contraband. And I can't say what that contraband is because we all know that it's so inappropriate to even say it that we get demonetized with our 45 subscribers, since everyone's so soft nowadays. He does grab the Zacian as well as the Cram. How the heck do they fit all these little Pokemon into a tinier bag? Well, you can ask Chris the next time he checks in, since this is the deck he's playing. But on that note, we do see Chris just attach the Jet Energy to the Iron Valiant. This will move it into the active, and he places damage counters on the Pidgeot EX. Attacking that Cramorant at this point, or with the Cramorant at this point, will allow Chris to take a knockout and reduce the consistency for his opponent. Boom! And we see the Prime Catcher bringing up the Pidgeot EX. It hits for 210 damage, taking the knockout. Let's go, Chris!
Squad up! Dude, big knockouts. I think you're going to win. Also, how do you keep those Pokemon in the bag? Makes no sense. You think I know I'm going to win? Plus, it's simple. They're in Pokeballs. Knox doesn't roll like that. All of my Pokemon should be out of the Pokeballs. Yep, just like my opponent. Hey, Chris, it's not over yet. Well, zip those lips. I need to focus. I'm gone. I'm going.
Charizard decks are really great late game closers. We do see an Ultra Ball here being played, and they grab the Dusknoir, which means they will be taking one additional prize. Ooh, and the Counter Catcher on the Fezandipity EX. Wow, this is an abomination. People have been calling for a ban on the Dusknoir line, and nobody listens. Guess they like the game being stale and boring. Despite its continuous growth? That logically doesn't make sense, Knox. I don't care, Will. Well, we do see them taking the knockout on the Cramorant for prize number 4, and the Charizard will be taking the next 2 prizes here on the Pheasant BX, meaning Crazy Chris is going down and will be in the last column. I told everyone we are on the end times, and every time I've been told I'm wrong, but today, that's some real evidence.
Hey, Chris, what happened? The opponent cheated, picking up an easy deck and still only beat me by 1 prize? How can you knock out 2 Pokemon with 2 different Pokemon? That should be against the rules. Agreed. For real. People say, Knox, you complain too much. Knox, you're too negative. Knox is a realist, and if you can't respect a realist, then it's all facade. Exactly, Knox. I played the game perfectly, and if the game wouldn't have given the Hop's Choice ban on the one turn I should attack, I would have been 2-0 right now. Next week, and unfortunately, you're still in the hunt. Well, I can't win them all, so you just have to double down on the Frosty next round. Whiskered Wallace is gonna lose too, or else I'm suing this place. Chris. Good luck to Will before this gym goes out of business. Knox, let's meet up after. We're gonna drink some Moo Moo Milk until we can't stand up. It sounds like a plan, home slice. Well, that was Chris. Started off hot, but just couldn't finish it off. Definitely a tough matchup. Yeah, Chris got royally screwed. First, me, now Chris. I feel like this league's rigged. Hey, Knox, you can feel whatever you want. We don't control that, though. Yeah, right, the truth will come out one day. I read the hop drops. You know, on that forum, the big secret stuff that only the wise know. You can believe whatever you want, Knox. Next week, though, we actually have an intelligent battler with Wizkid Wallace. He'll be bringing out his Enzora deck, bringing back some nostalgia vibes from the Sun and Moon era. You know that you are the real one if you're back into the Pokemon during that time frame. No scalpers. Good times. So with that said, thank you for watching as we are signing off today. Well, I'm Coach Knox, flexing on your Pokedex. I saw it, it's weak. And I'm Gym Leader Will, home from the Willville City Gym, the funniest and most chaotic gym in the land. We'll see you next week.